Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing my top 10 bronzers and ranking them with you. I shared my top 10 blushes and ranked those a few videos ago, and a lot of you asked for me to do this for bronzers. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty and makeup content here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into the bronzers. This was actually surprisingly difficult for me, not to pick my top 10, but to rank them. The ranking was really difficult. I think this might have been more difficult than my blush ranking, but I think this is as good as it's gonna get. Also, before we get started, if you're curious about this eye look, I filmed it for Instagram, so if you're curious, it may not be up yet by the time this video goes up, but make sure you're following me on Instagram so you don't miss out on that. All right, starting with number 10. This feels so wrong to even rank this one number 10, but I don't know, this is what I went with, and it's the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick in the shade Light. This is a really nice cream bronzer. I personally prefer something that's in a compact for daily use, just for me personally, so that's why I'm ranking this one pretty low down. This is also a pretty warm color for me, so I have to want a pretty warm bronzer when I use this, but this is a very opaque bronzer. It gives a lot of color, a lot of pigment, so it's definitely more of a product you would use when you're doing, like I have on today, a full face of makeup. It's not really like a natural type bronze product, and natural is what I go for most of the time, so that's kind of why my thinking was ranking this down lower, but it's very nice. In fact, I really want to get this in a light medium shade at some point because it's a little bit more on the cool side. It's not so warm. I feel like I might use that in this type of product a little bit more, but this is a great cream bronzer if you like something to really sculpt and define your face. Number 9 is from Rare Beauty, and it's the Warm Wishes bronzer stick. I have the shade Happy Soul, and I actually feel very similarly about this one that I do about the Makeup by Mario. The reason I'm ranking this one notch higher is mainly because of the formula on this. I think this is such a unique formula. It's very velvety is how I would describe it. I mean, like, look how easy that just blended with my finger. It almost turns to like a powdery consistency as you blend it, and it feels so smooth. It's so interesting. I don't have anything else that feels like this. The blendability on this is 10 out of 10. I wish the colors were not quite as warm. Like this one I think is described as more of a cool tone, and to me it's pretty warm. I think all of the colors lean pretty warm. I feel like if they would expand and add some cooler shades, it would be an even better cream bronzer. But again, this one is in stick form, which is fine. It's just not my preference for an everyday kind of product, and it's a very, like the Makeup by Mario, opaque bronzer. It's more of, or it is a matte finish, and it's more of a bronzer I would reach for when I'm doing a full face of makeup. Today, this is actually what I have on as cream bronzer today in the shade Happy Soul. But if you want something to really define and sculpt your face and you are nervous about blending, this one is a really great option. Number 8 is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. This one is very old. I have had this for a long time, but I love it. I have the first shade, which is Sunlight, and it's a very, I would call this more of a neutral color, which I personally really love. It looks like this, and this is such a high quality drugstore bronzer. It is, I wouldn't say insanely pigmented, but the formula is very smooth. It's very, like the name says, silky. I would totally agree with that. It is not difficult to blend whatsoever. It kind of reminds me of the L'Oreal Infallible bronzer that came out this year, and that one is good. I feel like this one is a bit easier to blend though. The L'Oreal can get a little bit patchy in my opinion. This one I never have that issue with. I also think the shade Sunlight, if you have really fair skin, this is a really nice bronzer that you could use as bronzer or as contour that's not orangey. I feel like a lot of bronzers in general can tend to run kind of orange, and that's what some people like. I like something a bit more neutral, even leaning a little more cool toned, and that's what this is for me. I love it. I wish they had more shades. It only comes in 3, but just for like an easy everyday matte bronzer, this one is really nice. Okay, number 7 is the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Bronzer. This is, I think, one of the most underrated drugstore products. I very rarely hear anyone talk about this, and this is, I would say, very unique also because you may not be able to tell in here, I guess you can, you get 4 different bronze tones in here, and when you put your brush in, they kind of all mix together. And this bronzer is not matte, but it's not glittery. It just has a little bit of radiance to it. It looks like a very natural suntan. It's warm, but it's not orangey. It has a little bit of a red undertone, but it's not too red. It's just a very realistic sunburn type look if you like that. And the formula is very nice. It's very buttery, very easy to blend, not patchy on me at all. Like I said in my blush video, I wish they would come out with more shades of the Neutrogena blush. I wish they would also come out with more shades of this because I think this is the only one. But this formula is so good. I love it very much. So if you are similar skin tone to me, a little bit deeper, I would say like light medium, medium, this is a beautiful bronzer with just a little bit of radiance. Number 6 is the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand in fair medium. So I know this product has gone viral numerous times. I've had mine for quite a while, long before this was like a really hyped up product. And I love this. I hate the packaging. I think most of us can agree we don't like the packaging with this sponge tip applicator. It's very messy, but the product is very, very good. This is one of few bronzers that I feel comfortable dotting directly on my face and then blending it out. This is a very blendable product. It is, I would say it's not super cool toned. I know they say it's a contour product. I think it's just more of a neutral color, which is what I typically go for. But I mean, this stuff you can do honestly just like 1, maybe 2 dots, and it will blend on your whole cheek. You do not need a lot of it, so it does last a long time. It's a very luxurious product, obviously. It's very pricey, but I do really enjoy it. This is like a special occasion type product for me. So if I'm doing my makeup for like something special and I'm doing a full face of makeup, I will very often use this. Okay, I'm looking at my top 5 here, and I think I feel really good about these. So number 5 is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Cream Bronzer. I have the shade Fair, and okay, this is a very unique product also. So Fair looks like this. This is a true cream to powder bronzer. So it's very creamy. It has almost a clay-like texture to it when you like dip your finger in, and then as you apply it, it blends out beautifully into a nice matte powdered finish, which I really like. I don't have anything that I can think of that's exactly like this. The Rare Beauty bronzer is kind of similar. This one is not as silky as the Rare Beauty, but it does dry down to that powdered finish. So it's not shiny, it doesn't stay tacky or anything. It's a very good bronzer, again, for really sculpting your face because it is that matte formula, which I like. that works really well for me because I typically use a lot of glowy cheek products. I use a lot of Hollywood Flawless Filter or blushes that have a lot of radiance to them. So I find that I use this a lot because it is that matte texture and it just kind of tones down and offsets all of the glow product that I use. But I do really enjoy that one, and that would be my number 5. Number 4 is the Makeup Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer. Now, I've talked about, I think this is probably one of the best drugstore cream bronzers that I've ever tried personally. The reason I didn't rank this higher is because I do find that it is so pigmented that you do have to be kind of careful when you apply it. Like, that is just me barely dipping into it, and it's very pigmented. The formula is also very, very creamy, almost. It's very emollient, so it spreads very easily. So you do kind of have to be mindful about where you're placing your brush or your sponge and make sure you're just keeping it where you're wanting it, because the product is so creamy, it spreads easily, but that also means you can blend it out very easily. So that's the reason I ranked it number 4. Just because I have some others that I'm going to talk about that are easier to use in terms of applying them. I don't have to think about it as much, but the way this formula melts into your skin, it's very unique. It's very, very high quality for the price. I think this is like $7, and the consistency is like butter, honestly. I mean, it just spreads and melts into your skin, but it has a lot of pigment, so you just have to be mindful of that. But this is a really great cream bronzer. Okay, number 3, you may be surprised by, because this is actually not a bronzer. It is a powder, and it's a new find for me, but I am obsessed with it, and it's the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder, but in the shade 320 Natural Tan. If you saw my Full Face of Maybelline video, I used this as bronzer in that video, and I was stunned by how pretty this was. It just looks like this. So it's just a face powder that's in a deeper shade than my skin tone, and I don't know what it was, but I'm telling you this, if you're around my skin tone and you like a very natural looking bronzer, very, very natural. It's not like some of the others where I was talking about how they are more of a product you use with a full face of makeup. This is something you can literally just very haphazardly apply with a big fluffy brush and not worry about it. It's also a really great product to set cream bronzers with. In fact, I have this on over the Rare Beauty bronzer today, and it works so well. It's a beautiful neutral tan color, not orangey. I love it. And they do have obviously deeper shades, so if you're a deeper skin tone than me, they do make deeper shades as well, but I just can't get enough of this. It also works really well on the eyes as eyeshadow, and I just love how easy it is. It looks very smooth on my skin, not patchy, and I really love it. So number 3 is this from Maybelline. Number 2 is the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. You guys, okay, I'll tell you what I love about this. This is very, very similar in texture to this one, but it's not as pigmented and it's much easier to apply. You do not have to be careful with this in the least. You can be very messy, very not precise with this, and it still looks good. It is that very thin, creamy, buttery texture, and this is the shade Light Medium. I don't know if I even said that, but I mean, this is a fantastic, just throw on a little bit of cream bronzer when you're like in a hurry running out the door kind of product. You can't mess it up. I'm telling you, I kind of rediscovered this in the last few months. I kind of put it away and forgot about it, and then I got it back out when I did my updated everyday makeup drawer video, and I started using it, and I realized how much I love this. This is such a good product, such a good product. I feel like everybody, even if you don't feel super confident with bronzer and not super confident with cream bronzer, I'm telling you, you cannot mess this up. You can't. I love this product. And then number one, if you think you know what number one is, comment it below. But number one is Fenty. Fenty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer in the shade Butta Biscuit. You guys, this is the perfect cream bronzer. It is the perfect color. Butta Biscuit is just the perfect tone for me. I love it so much. This is not a matte formula, but it's not a super dewy formula. It's more just a natural skin finish bronzer. I love this, you guys. It is so easy to apply. The color is perfection. I can honestly wear this on very light makeup days and heavier makeup days because it's very versatile. It's very buildable. You can apply a really light amount and get a very light bronze, or you can really build it up and sculpt your face with it. I have honestly re-fallen in love with this in the last few months. I loved it when I first got it, and then I've just tried so many things. I got this back out, and this is my favorite, you guys. I absolutely love and adore this. I think you can tell because this one is pretty beat up. But I have to say, this one is my number one. All right, you guys, those are my top 10 bronzers, and ranking them, this is very difficult to do. It's much harder than I was thinking it was going to be. Mainly the ranking part, not really the top 10 part. But I hope you enjoyed. I will have everything listed and linked for you below as always. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1, and I will see you tomorrow for another video. Remember, simply be you.